This edition of MacVoices is brought to you by Opsgenie by Atlassian. With Opsgenie, your next incident doesn't stand a chance. Visit Opsgenie.com for your free account. Hi, I'm Chuck Joyner, and this is a MacVoices briefing. 5 things to do with your photos. Folks, I'm sure that you have taken plenty of great photos over the holidays, and it's now time to do something with them or to file them into a folder in your hard drive, and that's where they live. And that's kind of a shame because there's so many fun things you can do with your photos and so many ways that you can enjoy them. And if you don't have those holiday photos, that's fine. I'm sure that you've taken plenty of other photos throughout the year or years that deserve special attention and would like to be freed from your hard drive or your photo organization service. So with that, let's start out 2019 by doing some fun, interesting things with our photos. Number 1, organize your photos. Okay, I know that sounds a little boring, but it's really a necessary step in getting ready to enjoy your photos because you want to be able to know where to look for those photos when you decide to have a little more fun with them. Apple's Photos is a great way to do it. It organizes it in its own fashion and gives you all kind of search options. Adobe's Lightroom is another option that so many people like. Or something simple as just a folder structure on your hard drive will help you start the process of getting organized. And if you're not sure what system you want to use, that folder structure will keep your photos organized at least to some small degree so that when you do decide, you're a little bit ahead of the game. I personally like a folder structure that has the year and then within that folder maybe special events for the year if they're major special events, or if they're just general interest photos, I'll throw them in unorganized. That may not be the best method, and I get that, but I also don't want to spend hours and hours organizing my photos. I want to have just an idea of where I can go to look for them and the easiest way that I don't just throw them all in one big batch. So whatever you choose, whatever option you choose or however you try it, get started this year, get the year started right by organizing your photos. Number 2, print your photos. I realize that in the digital age, this seems a little bit contradictory, but having your photos printed and displayed is a time-honored tradition, and it makes your photos accessible and available when maybe they otherwise wouldn't be. We all have those old shoe boxes full of photos from our families that are great because that's where all the photos live, but the problem is that's where the photos live, and you really don't get to see them unless you make an effort. If you go and get them printed now, you can do all kinds of interesting things with them. Services like Shutterfly and Snapfish give you online printing options where you upload your photos and the photos come back to you by mail. So you never have to leave the house and it only requires a few clicks. And they can be super affordable too. You can get 4x6 prints done for as little as a penny or less per print. The trick here, of course, is to make sure that you're aware of the shipping charges and are calculating the actual cost per print. So just something to watch. If you want something of a little more of an immediate gratification kind of thing, then the chain drugstores do an amazing job a lot of the time. Target, Walgreens, CVS, most of those have photo labs right in the store where you can even upload your photos and then physically pick them up or take your photos in and use some of their local tools to tweak the image. Not sure I'm a big fan of that aspect of it, but the idea of being able to go and pick something up an hour later or 2 hours later does definitely have an appeal. If you decide you want to try to get more quality and even better prints out of your photos, the Wirecutter recommends Nation's Photo Labs and AdoramaPix as their choices for the best photo printing services. And I respect those choices, but again, I would tell you, just to get started with this and find out if this is something you're really going to carry through with and really want to do, use some of the less expensive options or the faster options to make sure that you keep the ball rolling. Opsgenie by Atlassian is sponsoring this edition of MacVoices. Opsgenie helps you keep your service up and make sure that it stays up by alerting you to incidents that disrupt things. Incidents occur. You know that, and I know that, but that doesn't make them any more convenient. That's why Opsgenie alerts you to those incidents quickly so that you can respond. But who responds? What if part of your team is on vacation or asleep? Opsgenie lets you notify the right people, taking into consideration things like holidays and time zones. Sound complicated? It's not. Opsgenie guides you through the process so you get that protection up and running quickly. Opsgenie also integrates with lots of products and services you are already using. Amazon CloudWatch, Datadog, Jira, and New Relic, to name a few. That means less time learning how to make it all work and more time paying attention to your customers and to your product. That's why you're in business. And with Opsgenie, you will stay in business because your customers will be well taken care of. Software is a central part of our lives, making things easier, faster, and more accessible than ever before. But when those things go down, your life grinds to a halt, and no one has time to be ground to a halt. Right now, visit Opsgenie.com and sign up for a free account. Not a trial account, but a free account, and then add 5 of your team members for free so you can learn all about what Opsgenie offers and how it can help your business. With Opsgenie, your next incident doesn't stand a chance. Thanks to Opsgenie for their support of MacVoices. Number 3, display your photos. Yeah, this seems like an obvious one after we just talked about printing them, but what I don't want you to do is have them printed and then just stick them in that proverbial shoebox and have them end up under the bed gathering dust. Find ways to display your photos. This is an arrangement of photos I have in my kitchen of some of my favorite food photos. It's perfect subject matter for the kitchen and also reminds me of the good times that each of those meals was associated with. There's so many different options here. You can buy all kind of frames and all kind of wall displays, collages, and all that kind of thing from your local craft store or just right from Amazon online. So the one thing I will say about displaying your photos, find something that makes it easy for you to change them out, because that's sort of the whole idea here, is not to just take a photo, put it in a frame on a wall, and that's it. The idea will be to change out your photos on a regular basis so that you can enjoy them. And pretty quickly you'll decide which ones you really like and would maybe like to have printed on better paper or in a different way to display long term, and which ones maybe you feel like you could improve on. Number 4, try different kinds of prints. Printing your photos isn't just for paper anymore. Now you have the option to print on canvas or metal or even glass and give your photos a little bit of a different look and a different dimension, and also different ways to display them. Now, once again, we're back to the chain drugstores, Target, CVS, Walgreens. A lot of these are already offering canvas wraps and metal prints, and they do a pretty decent job. And it's a good place to get started with them and try them out. For something like glass, it's a little more specialized, and so you may want to look at a company like Fracture. I've had some Fracture prints made, and they're absolutely gorgeous. But by all means, think beyond paper a little bit. The one tip I will give you here is that getting them printed on anything but paper can get a little pricey. And so I would encourage you to pick your special photos and maybe experiment with smaller sizes and therefore just a little less expensive as you decide whether you like the look of a canvas wrap or a metal print or a glass print. And then when you've decided and experimented and know where you're going to place it or how you're going to display it, then take the dive in and get that really extra special photo printed in some extra special fashion. Number 5, use your big screen. This one would seem obvious, and it's so obvious that it often gets overlooked. If you have an iMac, the screen on that is gorgeous, but it's probably relegated to your office or some work area. So take your big screen TV and figure out a way to get your photos up on that. Some big screen TVs come with the option to copy your photos to an SD card and put that in the TV as a screensaver. The Apple TV, of course, is a perfect way to use your photos as a screensaver. And so many other devices also have those options as well, depending on what services you're using or how you're storing your photos. But at the end of the day, you've got this big, beautiful screen in your living room or your bedroom or your den or wherever that's just sitting there waiting for some content. And if you're using an iPhone now to take your photos, or a DSLR, or pretty much any modern, even the inexpensive modern cameras, you've got plenty of resolution to have your photos look great. It'll give you a chance to enjoy the memories from those photos, enjoy the beauty of those photos, and also may teach you a few things about your photo taking in the process as well. For example, you may learn to shoot landscape and not portrait so that your photos will look good on those big screens. But that's one that won't cost you a penny except just a little bit of time and learning about your particular TV and the options you have. But get those photos up on that big screen and you will enjoy them, I promise. Those are 5 tips for doing just a little more with your photos without a lot of effort. It's ironic that we all seem to be taking more and more photos and maybe enjoying them less and less. There are plenty of other ways and different things you can do with your photos, and we'll talk about some of those maybe in a future MacVoices briefing. But for now, go forth, enjoy your photos, and get them where you can enjoy them. Until the next time, and as always, thanks for watching. Visit MacVoices.com for show notes and to connect with Chuck on social media. Get involved in our MacVoices Facebook group, and get more out of your Apple tech with MacVoices magazine, free on Flipboard. And if you find value in it all, consider supporting us at patreon.com/MacVoices and join these folks who help keep MacVoices coming to you. Advertising handled by Backbeat Media at backbeatmedia.com. Bandwidth provided by CacheFly at cachefly.com.